Hey Spurs fans, welcome back to another update on our San Antonio Spurs. Before we jump into today's breaking news, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. And here's something special for you. Everyone who subscribes and leave a comment with their name and the city they're watching from will automatically be entered into our giveaway to win an official San Antonio Spurs jersey. So don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and comment your name and city below. Stay tuned, because the next Spurs fan wearing the jersey could be you. San Antonio did not tiptoe into the future. It punched a hole through it. By inking rookie guard Dylan Harper, the Spurs turned a procedural signing into a statement of intent, signaling a new offensive heartbeat and a renewed appetite for ascent in the Western hierarchy. The franchise's discretion remained intact, but the implications are loud. Harper arrives as the second overall selection in the 2025 draft, a 6'5" creator weighing 215 pounds whose combination of pace control and downhill force gives San Antonio a modern initiator with sturdy frame, elastic footwork, and fearless shot creation. At Rutgers, Harper authored a freshman year that felt less like adaptation and more like takeover. He averaged 19.4 points, 4.6 rebounds, and 4.0 assists, shooting just under half from the floor. More than the efficiency, it was the rhythm, early clock bursts, patient mid-range pacing, and late-game poise that turned possessions into inevitabilities and set the program's freshman scoring mark with 564 points. Consistency is where prospects separate from hype. Harper reached double figures in 24 of 29 outings, stacking 20-point efforts in 20 games. That reliability earned Big Ten all-freshman recognition and all Big Ten third-team honors. But more telling was how defenses adjusted, loading early, showing length at the nail, and still found themselves chasing. Before college stardom, there was a winning engine. Raised in Franklin Lakes, New Jersey, Harper led Don Bosco Preparatory High School to a 2024 state crown, a run built on sturdy decision-making in tight games and a refusal to coast. He collected the Gatorade New Jersey Player of the Year and walked away as the most valuable player at both the McDonald's All-American Game and the Jordan Brand Classic, thriving under bright lights and dense pressure. International reps sharpened the edges. With USA Basketball, Harper suited up for the 2024 Junior National Select Team and competed at the 2023 FIBA Under-19 World Cup in Hungary. Those tournaments stressed test pace, physicality, and processing speed. Harper's ability to toggle roles, primary ball handler one possession, cutter, and secondary trigger the next, traveled well. What does this mean in San Antonio? Scheme fit comes first. Harper's strength and stride make him a credible driver against set defenses, while his patience unlocks short roll reads and weak side kickouts. In a Spurs system that demands clarity of purpose and precise spacing, he projects as a primary or co-primary initiator who can toggle between pick-and-roll orchestration and off-ball relocation, keeping tempo varied rather than predictable. The shot profile is promising and pragmatic. Harper thrives at the rim with balance through contact, draws help without panic, and leverages a steady pull-up to keep defenders honest. The mid-range cadence, one or two dribbles into a clean rise, pairs with developing catch-and-shoot consistency, a blend that travel well in playoff half-courts where first reads rarely survive. Defense is the quiet separator. With a strong chest and sound angles, Harper slides across matchups, using timely contests rather than gambles. His rebounding numbers for a guard hint at responsibility and awareness, crucial for igniting early offense without sacrificing structure. On a team that prizes communication, he fits the ethos: talk, tag, rotate, finish. Intangibles will set the timeline. Harper's poise in late-game possessions at Rutgers translates to trust and the Spurs culture. Film absorption, reps, accountability, historically amplifies guards who enter with a sturdy floor and a teachable ceiling. Expect deliberate progression, targeted minutes, curated closing scenarios, and growing sets that expand as comfort and leverage increase. There's a curiosity that no press release can resolve. How quickly does Harper bend professional defenses? Early opponents will test him with length at the point of attack, stunned from the strong side, and rhythm disruption. His counters, escape dribbles, pocket passes, hesitation in a body will define how soon he moves from promising to problematic for scouting reports. The locker room dynamics matter as much as the playbook. Veterans will appreciate his controlled aggression and willingness to make the next pass. Younger teammates will mirror his preparation habits. San Antonio's development framework is designed to challenge without fracturing, and Harper's competitive temperament fits the calibrations of a team building layers rather than burning steps. Marketing and momentum follow competence. Harper's high school and college profile ensure instant visibility, but the attention that lasts comes from granular improvement. Free throw rate, corner three volume, live dribble passing windows that transform highlight potential into winning machinery. The Spurs, methodical by nature, will let substance drive the story. The question framing the season is not whether Harper is good. He already is, but how steep his curve becomes inside a system that turns potential into production. The second overall tag brings weight. The Spurs' track record offers scaffolding. Between those poles lies the intrigue. How fast, how far, and how decisively he rewrites expectations. Call it a recalibration year with a focal point. San Antonio gains a guard who can carry possessions without compromising structure, a competitor forged in state titles, national showcases, and international windows. The franchise gains a narrative with teeth, a homegrown worker stepping into a city that rewards craft, patience, and relentless progress. What begins today is not a coronation, it is a construction. Dylan Harper's signing gives the Spurs an engine they can refine, a timeline they can accelerate, and a reason for opponents to plan harder. The future, once distant, now has a face, a cadence, and a pathway that points forward rather than merely promising it. Before we go on, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Your support keeps our Spurs coverage strong and brings you the latest updates straight from San Antonio. And jump into the comments. Tell us what you think about today's news. The NBA world was shaken to its core when the San Antonio Spurs announced the acquisition of SHAI Gilgeous-Alexander, the Oklahoma City Thunder's superstar guard. The news reverberated across the league like a thunderclap, instantly transforming the Spurs from a rebuilding project into a legitimate contender. Fans, analysts, and even rival players were left stunned, realizing that the balance of power in the Western Conference had just shifted dramatically. The unveiling was nothing short of cinematic. Reporters expecting a routine press conference were greeted by the sight of Gilgeous-Alexander walking onto the stage in a crisp black and silver Spurs jersey. The room erupted in gasps and applause as cameras flashed and microphones scrambled to capture the moment. It was a declaration that San Antonio was ready to reclaim its throne in the NBA hierarchy. For years, the Spurs have been quietly rebuilding, nurturing young talent, and relying on the steady leadership of Greg Popovich. While the franchise remained respected, it lacked the star power that once defined its championship runs. The arrival of SHAI Gilgeous-Alexander changed everything. His presence instantly elevated the team's profile, signaling that the Spurs were no longer content with patience. They were ready to dominate. SHAI's reputation precedes him. Known for his silky, smooth scoring, elite playmaking, and defensive versatility, he has already established himself as one of the league's premier guards. His ability to control the tempo of a game and deliver in clutch moments makes him a rare commodity. Now, with the Spurs, he has the opportunity to redefine the identity of a franchise that has long thrived on discipline and teamwork. Inside the Spurs locker room, reactions were a mix of awe and excitement. Young players looked inspired, eager to learn from a superstar who embodies both skill and humility. Veterans exchanged knowing glances, aware that their roles might shift with the arrival of such a dominant presence. The atmosphere was charged with anticipation, as everyone understood that the team's trajectory had changed overnight. The media frenzy was immediate. Headlines screamed of shock and ambition, while analysts debated the implications. How had the Spurs managed to pull off such a monumental deal? What had motivated Oklahoma City to part ways with their franchise cornerstone? Theories range from financial considerations to long-term rebuilding strategies, But one fact was undeniable. San Antonio had struck gold. Fans in Texas erupted with joy. Social media timelines flooded with celebratory posts, memes, and predictions of playoff runs. Season ticket sales spiked, and merchandise stores reported unprecedented demand for jerseys bearing SHAI's name. The city of San Antonio, long intertwined with the Spurs' identity, felt reinvigorated, as if a new era had dawned. In Oklahoma City, however, the mood was somber. Thunder fans expressed disbelief and frustration, questioning the franchise's decision-making. For a team that had invested heavily in building around SHAI, the trade felt like a gut punch. The emotional fallout underscored the magnitude of losing a player who had become the face of the team. Greg Popovich, the legendary coach, appeared both calm and energized during the announcement. His trademark stoicism was punctuated by a subtle smile, hinting at his excitement to integrate SHAI into his system. Popovich's reputation for maximizing talent suggests that this acquisition could unlock new dimensions in the Spurs' playbook, blending discipline with star-driven brilliance. On the court, the implications are enormous. SHAI's ability to dominate offensively and anchor defensively could transform San Antonio into a playoff contender overnight. His presence allows the Spurs to stretch the floor, control tempo, and execute in crunch time. Opposing teams will need to recalibrate their strategies when facing a Spurs squad led by the new King of Texas. The announcement also sparked conversations about the future of the Western Conference. With powerhouse teams already vying for dominance, the Spurs' bold move adds another layer of intrigue. Analysts speculated that the balance of power could shift, with San Antonio emerging as a dark horse in the playoff race. Sponsors and business partners quickly recognized the marketing potential of the moment. Campaigns were drafted overnight, aiming to capitalize on the heightened attention. The Spurs brand, often associated with quiet excellence, suddenly carried an aura of drama and excitement. The business side of the franchise experienced a surge that mirrored the enthusiasm on the court. International media outlets picked up the story, underscoring the global reach of the NBA. Fans from Europe to Asia expressed fascination with the Spurs' audacity, reinforcing the league's reputation as a theater of unpredictability. The move was not just a local shock, it was a global headline. Within the Spurs' practice facility, the energy was palpable. Players pushed harder during drills, motivated by the presence of their new teammate. SHAI himself wasted no time in demonstrating his skills, impressing coaches and teammates with his intensity and focus. His seamless integration into the team's culture suggested that the transition would be smoother than expected. The Thunder, meanwhile, faced tough questions about their future. Analysts debated whether the trade signaled a rebuild or a shift in strategy. Fans demanded answers, and the franchise found itself under intense scrutiny. The ripple effects of the move extended far beyond San Antonio, reshaping narratives across the league. For the Spurs, the acquisition represents more than just a roster upgrade. It is a statement of intent, a declaration that the franchise is ready to reclaim its place among the league's elite. The timing, secrecy, and execution of the announcement all reinforce the message. The Spurs are back, and they have a new king. As the dust settled, one thing became clear: the NBA landscape had changed. The Spurs' shocking announcement had injected fresh drama into the season, captivating fans and analysts alike. The league thrives on unpredictability, and San Antonio had delivered it in spectacular fashion. SHAI himself expressed gratitude and determination during his first remarks as a Spur. He spoke of embracing the franchise's culture, learning from its veterans, and striving to bring success back to San Antonio. His words resonated with fans, reinforcing the belief that this was not just a transaction. It was the beginning of a new chapter. Ultimately, the Spurs announcement will be remembered as one of the most dramatic moments of the season. It was a masterclass in secrecy, strategy, and spectacle. Whether the move leads to championships remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: SHAI Gilgeous-Alexander has redefined the Western Conference, and the basketball world will be watching closely as the new King of Texas takes his throne. The shockwaves of SHAI Gilgeous-Alexander's move to the San Antonio Spurs continued to ripple across the NBA, dominating headlines and sparking heated debates among fans and analysts alike. The announcement was more than just a roster change. It was a cultural moment that redefined the narrative of the Western Conference. Every sports outlet dedicated extensive coverage to the story, dissecting its implications from every possible angle. In San Antonio, the excitement was palpable. The city, which had endured years of patient rebuilding, suddenly found itself at the center of the basketball universe. Local businesses embraced the buzz, with restaurants offering Spurs-themed specials and fans flooding merchandise stores to buy jerseys emblazoned with SHAI's name. The atmosphere felt reminiscent of the franchise's glory days, as if the city had rediscovered its championship heartbeat. Nationally, rival teams expressed unease. Coaches acknowledged that preparing for the Spurs had become a far more daunting task, while players admitted that SHAI's arrival added a new layer of intensity to the Western Conference. Analysts pointed out that the psychological impact of the move was as significant as the on-court implications, forcing competitors to rethink their strategies against a suddenly formidable San Antonio squad. Social media platforms remained ablaze with reactions. Clips of SHAI's highlights in a Spurs jersey went viral, while hashtags celebrating the new king of Texas trended globally. Fans debated playoff scenarios, rotations, and potential matchups, with many predicting that San Antonio could emerge as a dark horse contender. The digital conversation underscored the global reach of the NBA, as fans from Europe, Asia, and Latin America joined in the frenzy. Former players and legends of the game also weighed in, adding gravitas to the discussion. Some praised the Spurs for their boldness, recalling how the franchise had historically thrived by making unconventional decisions. Others cautioned that integrating a superstar midseason could disrupt chemistry, emphasizing the delicate balance required to maintain cohesion. Their insights added depth to the ongoing debate, reminding fans of the complexities behind such a monumental move. Sponsors and corporate partners quickly recognized the marketing potential of the moment. Merchandise sales soared, and campaigns were drafted to capitalize on the heightened attention. The Spurs brand, often associated with quiet excellence, suddenly carried an aura of drama and excitement. The business side of the franchise experienced a surge that mirrored the enthusiasm on the court, reinforcing the idea that sports success and commercial success often go hand in hand. In Oklahoma City, the fallout was intense. Thunder fans expressed frustration and disbelief, questioning the franchise's direction. Analysts speculated that the trade signaled a rebuild, while others suggested internal dynamics had forced the decision. The emotional response underscored the magnitude of losing a player who had become the face of the team, leaving a void that would be difficult to fill. League officials reportedly admired the secrecy and spectacle of the Spurs announcement. In an era dominated by leaks and speculation, San Antonio had managed to orchestrate a reveal that caught everyone off guard. The move was seen not just as a basketball decision, but as a masterclass in branding, demonstrating how franchises can generate buzz in unexpected ways. Within the Spurs locker room, the repercussions continued to unfold. Established players faced the reality of increased competition, while younger talent saw opportunities to learn from SHAI. The dynamic created a new layer of intensity in practices, ensuring that every player was motivated to prove their worth. The internal ripple effect promised to elevate the team's overall performance, as the presence of a superstar often raises the collective standard. Ultimately, the announcement became more than just a sports story. It was a cultural phenomenon. It sparked conversations about loyalty, ambition, and adaptation, resonating far beyond the hardwood. The Spurs had not only shocked their roster and the media, but had reignited the imagination of basketball fans worldwide. The repercussions of this surprise were still unfolding, but one thing was clear. San Antonio had successfully reinserted itself into the center of the NBA narrative, with SHAI Gilgeous-Alexander now firmly established as the new king of Texas. That's it for today's update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay on top of every exclusive San Antonio Spurs news drop, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. And don't forget, your opinion matters to Spurs Nation. Share your thoughts in the comments below. See you in the next video.